Roger Ebert said of the Legend of Drunken Master's final fight scene, coming at the end of a film, filled with jaw-dropping action scenes, this extended virtuoso effort sets some kind of benchmark. It may not be possible to film a better fight scene. I would agree with him. There are few figures in cinema as famous as Jackie Chan, whose run of films from Drunken Master in 1978 all the way through to, I would say, Rumble in the Bronx in 1995, is unparalleled in terms of consistent output, and even beyond that he still regularly put out impressive work, up to even today. As both a star and director, or martial artist and fight director and whatever else, he is without a doubt one of the most important figures in film history. Quite near to starting his crossover to the American mainstream, Chan returned to the film that arguably was a turning point to him becoming a megastar in his home country, Drunken Master. The sort of sequel in that it shares the lateral connection to the first film feels like a culmination of everything he had done up to that point. Directed by the Shaw Brothers legend Lau Kar-leung, along with Chan himself, it returned to an old Chinese setting he had often avoided in favour of what he considered more exotic locales. In many ways, it feels like him paying homage to his legacy in a watershed moment that would allow him to fully evolve into his next stage of global superstardom. Just before this, he had starred in Police Story 3, which for me was still very funny, but also an impressive embrace of the potential for darker, more mature work. Jackie Chan was changing, and with The Legend of Drunken Master, finally leaving behind certain elements of his past. I just want to say quickly, this video is sponsored by NordVPN. I am a huge fan of Nord and believe wholeheartedly most should consider using a VPN. Get 75% off a 3-year plan at nordvpn.com/Rossatron, and for a short time, use the code Rossatron to get an extra month of Nord for free. And please remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification if you want to be notified of when I have a video out. It helps the channel immensely, and remember, I do have a Patreon as well if you would really like to support this. The film follows Wong Fei-hung, a young man skilled in the drunken master form, who disgraces his family for his seeming inability to settle down and not get into fights. At the same time, thanks to an elder Lau Kar-leung, he discovers a plot by gangsters to illegally smuggle ancient antiquities out of China, using a forge they have taken over to act as a front. The story is a simple one, of redemption, that whilst feeling like an excuse to set up as many extravagant fight sequences as possible, is played perfectly throughout to feel like a true narrative arc. Demanded by his father not to use his drunken boxing, due in part to Fei-hung taking it always too far. This gives our protagonist a personal aim to fulfill that takes Chan's trademark physical comedy and ties it directly into his character's internal journey. That in itself is a masterstroke, really. That the humour is not only a pleasing addition to the film, but a necessary part of the story itself. This fight scene is actually integral to the power of the end scene I'll discuss later. Not only is it an exciting and humorous and in itself very impressive sequence, but it showcases to us, a perhaps less educated audience, to how something that looks so clownish could be so powerful. It also gives us a counterpoint to that later fight in that this can be seen as Fei-hung's first true on-screen attempt at utilising the power completely, which by the end of the fight he fails to control, driving him into the forge later to prove himself not just to his family, but to himself. We see here how the power of drunken boxing is in its unconventional nature, again making humour a necessary part of the film's language. Like the Benny the Jet fight in Wheels on Meals, it is the hard-to-read nature of how he is fighting that is why it works so well. And later, when he uses those same moves again to greater success, we understand that he was not just making this up. This is a true power, and one by the end, he fully gains control of. Of course, due to Fei-hung then taking it too far and becoming inebriated to the point of not being able to fight back, it leads to his downfall, adding tension to that final fight. Once he begins drinking the industrial alcohol, will he take it too far? Martial arts is about self-control and balance. By the end of the final fight, Fei-hung must find the balance in himself, both as a drunken boxer and as the son of his father. Of course, any good hero needs a good bad guy. And in Ken Lo, Chan's personal bodyguard who stood in when a previous actor didn't work out, provides exactly the right villain for the scene and really for the film. For a start, the bad guy's not above using something similar to Fei Hung's own unconventional style. This is an opponent that is of course now a reflection of him in some ways. But since he appears dressed in his English suit, not true to who he is, it aids in Fei Hung's understanding that he must be true to himself to win this battle. The villain even makes fun of drunken boxing, which reflects Fei Hung's own words earlier, further cementing that reflection hypothesis. Yuen Wo-ping, of course the director of the original Drunken Master, said fights with two people are the most fun to choreograph and probably also the most entertaining to watch. And I think this fight shows why. The emotion and energy that comes with a one-on-one, the focus and determination, and believability that they could be matched, sets this kind of conflict apart. That it is a reflective image Chan is fighting in some ways, makes it even more meaningful to his arc. The best villains are either a reflection of and counterpoint to a hero, or someone they could become. Vader represented what Luke could be if he took a certain path. Saruman is a dark reflection of Gandalf. Hell the Shark in Jaws, a random beast, is a reflection or direct opposite of either the shark expert, the man of the sea, or the lawman that nature of course does not respect. Ken Lo can be seen in a similar way. And of course, when talking about character, I must take a moment to highlight Chan's performance.
When you get drunk, your face get red. We pick a makeup off. All the clothes get red. So I have to create my own style. Before I do the fighting scene, I have to, like bend down like this. Then I'm standing up. It looks so more difficult than some every shot.
He isn't just hitting marks, remembering choreography, or trying not to get hurt. He is acting a character, and a drunk one at that. In a way, he continues to act after he comes off the hot coals. Ken Lo attacks him even as he has finished the stunt. It's something we've seen even back to Project A, with him continuing to act as he is pulled from the ground after this stunt. Chan's dedication to his performance is remarkable. And though Chan moving across hot coals might be a little bit on the nose in terms of the narrative, it is all still in the service of the story. In a film like John Woo's Last Hurrah for Chivalry, breathing fire like this is an exciting and impressive act. But in this film, it is a necessary part of the narrative. It is not only props that Chan is turning on his aggressors, but literally fire. The front that the bad guys operate, that represents their hellish vision for the workers Chan is in part fighting for, is now fully turned on them. Chan is famous for using props of course, but using fire in this way? And while still maintaining his performance, it is beyond impressive. Of course, one reason it is all so well thought out both technically and narratively, is how long Chan spent on the scene. It took 4 months to film. 4. This scene in the raid took 8 long days to shoot, so you can understand the luxury Chan had here. And it isn't just the macro storytelling and performance elements of the scene that stand out, but the moment-to-moment technical side is just staggeringly well done. The cuts to wide are placed perfectly to enhance seeing the movements, and held long enough always to keep us able to track things without overstaying their welcome. The mid-shots are placed throughout and composed enough to show the precision of the blows, whilst close-ups show character performance and actual physical hits. If something needs to be established or a prop brought into frame, the camera does so. It is kinetic but controlled, the way the best fight scenes are. The camera is part of the action, but it never gets in the way of it. It is actually one thing that infamously, Lau Kar-leung and Jackie Chan clashed over, with Leung being dismissed from the set and Chan taking over directing of this fight scene. Word ranges from Leung wanting Chan to respect more the true form of drunken boxing, which didn't fit Chan's quicker pace in the fights, to Leung wanting to move the camera more on a dolly and utilising wire work and so on. One thing is clear, what Chan wanted to do here worked for the film. To me, this is the ultimate version of his brand of kung fu on screen. Now were Chan to direct a Lau Kar-leung Shaw Brothers classic, one would expect fully that Leung would have the right to dismiss Chan for not executing his vision properly. To say that this is a masterclass in action is not at all to dismiss Leung's own masterworks in any way. I just wanted to clear that up. Now to go into how Jackie Chan filmed and edited things, let's take a closer look at how the fight comes to an end. The flow of the setups from one shot to the next is just magnificent. Now look how we are pushed into low angle just as the characters are. We are with them. We then remain low angle as Ken Lo is pushed to the stool. Lo using the stool forces Chan and then our perspective up, and though Chan is being pushed back and on the defensive, he is now dominating the frame. As he then destroys the stool, he forces Lo back again. This is over several quick cuts. Chan is not against using quick cuts in any of his scenes to keep up the energy after all. We then reset to a wide to just quickly see where Lo is in the frame again, which, handily, is stood by barrels we may not have noticed in the previous wides. He grabs the set dressing in the same shot, so he's bringing what was previously not noticed into play in an organic manner. The stool could be cut around quickly when it was destroyed as we'd already seen him use it, and now we need to reset our understanding of what prop he is using at this point. It is actually quite a similar attack to the one with the stool, but now at a higher level, as if Chan is moving higher and higher in power. Low angles after all are designed to show someone as dominating the frame, which very quickly Chan does. He is now tilted fully into a powerful low angle, at a time when he is, rather than fighting Lo, almost making fun of him. There is little else for Lo to do at this point, having lost so much face, so he is kicked away so far that in the wide, he looks very small in the frame. He is defeated. Oh, and that barrel you saw earlier? It was conveniently placed exactly where it needed to be for Chan to get into this position, and finish the fight for good. And finally Lo, from a high angle, weakening position, as he drops unconscious. It is just stunning filmmaking, with an immediate simplicity, hiding an incredible complexity. The storytelling, the performances, the choreography, the stunts, the camera work, the editing, it is without question an absolute masterclass in directing and performing action. Now, as someone who relies on the internet and data protection in almost everything I do, be it for work or entertainment, security online is of the utmost importance to me. Browsing without a VPN, especially on things like public Wi-Fi, is getting more and more dangerous. A VPN allows you to browse securely, and nobody does it better than NordVPN. I work from home, I work from coffee shops, doing YouTube videos, I'm gonna be using public Wi-Fi, so without a doubt, it's a necessity for me. And handily, it's an incredibly easy to use and reliable service that quietly ensures you're protected at all times on any device you like. You can now get 75% off a free-year plan at nordvpn.com/ROSSATRN, which makes your subscription just $2.99 per month. And by using the code Rossatron, you get an extra month of Nord for free. Now that is good value. Thanks, and see you again soon.